Hey there, 8th graders. It's Mr. Cron. Today we will be discussing the cardinal directions. Your essential question here is, how do geographers identify direction? And in terms of your I can statement, I want you to think about how I can use the cardinal directions to identify which direction something is from something else. Okay? So here we go. Remember, the underlined stuff is the most important stuff that I want to make sure that you write down, although you're always welcome to write it all down. I only test from the stuff that is underlined within the notes or titles of note slides, okay? So our first thing that we're going to do here together is to create your own mnemonic device for remembering north, east, south, and west. Here's the ones you can't use because they're already mine. Never eat soggy Wheaties, never eat soggy waffles, or nobody enjoys stinging wasps. Those are three that you can't use because those are mine, but you got to come up with your own, and I've seen some great ones over the years. And so I'd like you now to come up with this. Remember, it must be school appropriate. It must follow the NESW pattern, and you have 1 minute. Ready, set, go. And that was the fastest minute ever because you can always pause these videos. So, now that you've done this, I want today, when you turn this in by clicking submit on the right of this assignment and create and entering the text that I want you to enter, I want this mnemonic device to be included. You're going to enter this, and then you're going to enter your answers to the 3 practice questions that I will show you here in a minute. So if you need to pause this video while you make your mnemonic device, you go right ahead. Otherwise, we're going to keep trucking on. Cardinal directions. Cardinal directions are the 4 main points of a compass: north, south, east, and west, which are also known by the first letters N, S, E, W. These directions are used all the time. Geographers use them. People who aren't necessarily doing anything with geography use them. Once you get a car and you're going to be driving places, you're going to be using them. They are important to use, and they're an excellent way to successfully navigate your Earth. Due north. Due north is a term that's used often. A cardinal direction can also be referred to by first using the word due. This is just sort of saying in that direction, but you will hear this from time to time, and it can throw people off when you say due north if they're not used to hearing that. So if someone says due north, they're just saying head straight north. Okay. Now a practice question. Which city is due north of Portland? Okay, so we have a bunch of cities here, a bunch of U.S. cities. We got Minneapolis, we got Chicago, we got Detroit. Where is Portland? Portland's over here. So which city right now is due north, pretty north of Portland? Okay, and the answer, of course, is right up here in Seattle. So when you submit your answers today, make sure that Seattle is included. If we were in class, you'd get the answer when somebody else rose their hand anyway. So this will work just fine. Ordinal directions. Now we're going to make things more complicated. The ordinal directions refer to the direction found at the point equally between each cardinal direction. Ordinal directions are northeast, known as NE, southeast, known as SE, southwest, known as SW, and northwest, known as NW. Ordinal directions are also known as intercardinal directions. So these directions make things a little more precise. And when you're talking about navigation, being more precise is always a good thing, because if you go slightly too far east or slightly too far north and you go for, say, 1,000 miles, you will end up very much so in the wrong place. So that is why ordinal directions make things a little more efficient. So let's look at our second practice question. Which city is southeast of Austin? So we're looking for Austin, right? We got Phoenix, Arizona over here, Los Angeles, California, back up by Portland and Seattle that we already saw. New York City. Where is Austin? Austin's down here in Texas. Austin, Texas. And so you have some options here for southeast. Take a look up here at the compass rose, and what you'll notice is southeast is anything going this direction. So you guessed it. If you imagine putting the compass, or even my cursor right now, on Austin, you'll notice that southeast of Austin is none other than Houston, Texas. However, there was another answer that would also be correct. If you keep going southeast, you're going to pretty much hit Miami. So you could go either way with your answer there. You could go with Houston, Texas, or Miami, Florida. Either one is correct. Both are southeast of Austin. So now we're going to make things even more complicated. We're going to go with secondary intercardinal directions. And you're saying, why, Mr. Cron? Why would we even bother? Well, Well, like I said before, if you're using these directions to go somewhere, let's say you're flying an airplane, or if you're the captain of a ship and you head southeast and you go for 1,000 miles, if you went southeast, but really you should have gone south-southeast, by the time you hit 1,000 miles, you're going to be way off course. And this is going to be very problematic for you. So that is why we make things even more complicated. It actually goes further than this, but this is as far as we're going to go for our purposes in our 8th grade geography class, are the secondary intercardinal directions. So directions midway between each cardinal and ordinal direction are referred to as secondary intercardinal directions. Examples of secondary intercardinal directions are NNW, north-northwest, NNE, north-northeast, and ENE, east-northeast. And you'll notice over here on the compass rose how this works. So we have north, we have east, we have northeast, which we're pretty comfortable with. However, we also have north-northeast, which is the one that's slightly closer to north. And we have east-northeast, which is slightly closer to east. And you can see if you were going 1,000 miles and you were going north-northeast when you should have been going east-northeast, pretty soon you would get way off course. And that's why we have these secondary intercardinal directions. So let's see how they work here. Practice number 3. And remember, once again, you will be submitting this by clicking on the right-hand side, the blue submit button, clicking create so that you can actually type text. It will let you type text. You just won't be able to submit it if you don't click create. So make sure you click create. And then you'll enter your 3 practice questions plus your mnemonic device. So practice number 3. Which city is northwest of Los Angeles? So take a look at our compass rose. We got north, we got west, we got northwest, but we need north-northwest. So I want you to imagine my cursor as the compass rose over Los Angeles. Which city is north-northwest of Los Angeles? And of course, you got it right. San Francisco, okay? So if you're going to San Francisco, be sure to wear a flower in your hair, okay? Now, those are your 3 practice questions. Don't forget about your mnemonic device. That must be original, and I'm sure is going to be amazing. And thank you for watching this virtual note session of Cardinal Directions.